So they made the decision with Armstead and Buckner. Then they made a crucial quarterback decision. They saw what Jimmy did in the fourth quarter. Organizationally, it felt like they pinned it on him. But then there was another wing that it seemed of the organization or the fandom that said, give him another year. It'll be his second full year starting. And you saw what happened to Matt Ryan in his second. This guy is young. It was his he's going to be in the MVP conversation. The best is yet to come. That was sort of, and the backdrop was Tom Brady was available. So what do you think? Did they do it right?
No, it's easy to say it now, but no, they didn't do it right. Yeah. Now, am I saying the 49ers of 2020 with all those injuries would have won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady? No, probably not. But are they a better football team with Tom Brady than they are with Jimmy Garoppolo? Yes, because Tom Brady's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. Mobility, right? People talk about mobility. Tom Brady is more mobile within the pocket at 43 than Jimmy Garoppolo is at 30.
True.
This is important. And I think that's one of the things with Brady that's so underrated because mobility goes beyond just running and scrambling. Brady is one of the best pocket manipulators in the history of the NFL. He has some of the quickest feet within the pocket in the history of the NFL.
True.
Then you go to throwing. Tom Brady's a better thrower at 43 than Jimmy Garoppolo's.
True.
Stronger arm, better deep ball, more accurate.
True.
So he's better, right? So like I think that's an easy one, right? That's an easy one. And one of the things I told you on the phone, and I've told you this a few times, is that one of the God's saving grace for me before I started doing this, and I was lucky enough to get this opportunity with you, was that we did it after week 1. Because I was just thinking to myself, man, if we did this in 2019 or the 2020 offseason, where this Brady thing was going on, and I had said at the time, which I did feel that, I loved Jimmy. Like, I love Jimmy. I'm a fan of the 49ers, so I like Jimmy. I love Jimmy, all of that. But if you asked me to give my objective opinion, I would have said they got to sign Tom Brady. Nobody would have liked me. And I think a few people like me now, and I'm thankful for that. But, man, nobody would have liked me if I did this then. So I'm thankful for that. And Brady's the obvious one, but Grant, I actually want to go even further, right? Because we're doing the QB position. Mm-hmm. Should have upgraded the backup quarterback spot.
Okay.
Should have drafted a quarterback in 2020 in the 2020 draft, or should have drafted a quarterback in the 2019 draft.
Like CJ Beathard didn't need to be on the 2020 team.
CJ Beathard didn't need to be on either of those teams. I think we'd seen enough where there was no development happening with CJ Beathard. He was no longer the developmental prospect. They needed to bring in another developmental prospect.
Correct.
And Nick Mullins looked okay in 2018, but he was also playing with house money in 2018. He wasn't playing for a roster that needed wins like he was in 2020.
And he fell apart a little bit in that situation. Brought in some more.
So,
absolutely.
And the issue that the Niners had in 2020 was everybody's like, bench Nick Mullins. Bench Nick Mullins for who? They didn't want to bench him for CJ Beathard.
Yes, for good reason.
And that's where I think that they kept telling themselves that we have one of the best quarterback rooms in the NFL. No, you don't. A good quarterback room has a backup like a Jacoby Brissett, a backup like a Case Keenum.
Or Rosen. In retrospect, I like the whole Rosen thing that they're doing now. And they could have had him way earlier. I mean, he was available. And I like that they got him.
You know what, though? Even if you have Rosen, to me, there's no excuse not to draft a quarterback in rounds 4 through 6 next year, too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, too. I'm cool with the Niners keeping Rosen, Lance, getting rid of the rest, including Sudfeld. Not exactly sure what Sudfeld.
I'm cool with
a lot of people like Sudfeld. I just don't. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't like.
No, actually, you know what? To be fair, Philly, Sudfeld was their CJ Beathard. They kept him on that roster with Foles and Wentz for like 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Why? He's gonna be in the league for like a nice little time, a nice little chunk, and I just don't get it. But I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I mean, did he do anything in that little cameo appearance last year? They were like, "Oh, boom, that's it right there. That's the reason." It's like, I don't know. Like, is he better than CJ? I guess.
Maybe, because like the cameo experience, like Jalen Hurts wasn't playing good in that football game either, and they were going up against a really good defense. So like, I guess you can excuse him for that, but at the same time, like, there's nothing about him physically that you saw, and you're like, yes, that's why he's been on this roster for 5 years, and that's why the Niners are about to fork over some amount of guaranteed money to bring him in.
Yeah. Okay. Trey Niner says Kyle wanted Cousins, and I don't think we would have went to the Super Bowl with Cousins, so Jimmy was the better option at the time. Some people feel Cousins would have won that game.
Yeah.
That Cousins would have hit that throw to Emmanuel Sanders. I'm just saying. The thing about Cousins is that
I may or may not be one of those people. Forget the throw to Emmanuel Sanders. The thing about Cousins that people don't understand is, does Cousins go kind of crazy if the play in front of him isn't working? Is he awful at executing off schedule? Yes. But Cousins is one of the best quarterback executors in the NFL when it comes to making right decisions from the pocket and executing his offense, especially a play action based offense, and standing in the pocket with toughness and making the throw that's needed, right? If there's a 20-yard throw available, he makes the 20-yard throw, doesn't throw the 5-yard throw. So all of those things, Cousins is very good at all those things. That's why he has like a 99 career quarterback rating with 6 different offensive coordinators and 2 different football teams. And
I mean, Jimmy should be so lucky to have a career like that. Honestly, the thing with Cousins is he's just too expensive.
Yes, and he's just the weirdest dude in the history.
I think you need someone to give you something off schedule, unless his name is Peyton or Tom. Otherwise, Joe Montana was very good off schedule. So I think you can't.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. You need your quarterback to be able to make a play by himself. But if you look at the Super Bowl by itself, and just the Super Bowl as its own entity, all the Niners needed was somebody to execute perfectly. And that's where you could make the argument for Cousins, because he doesn't make the execution errors that Garoppolo does.
Jank Master says, hey, Vish and Grant, love the show. We love you, Jank Master. Thank you. Money aside, do you think a dual quarterback 50-50 split setup in SF could work? Has it ever worked professionally? It's funny. Someone asked me this earlier today, and I was saying that I'm not against the idea on certain teams that aren't investing in the quarterback position at all. Like, for example, New Orleans, New England. Both of those teams have about 2 quarterbacks who are kind of neck and neck, and neither one's highly paid. Not really invested in either one. If you want to get creative and split that up and do a mad scientist experiment, by all means. But you do not do this when you trade it up to number 3 for a franchise quarterback. And you don't do it if one of your quarterback is making $30 million. No, absolutely not. You're too invested. But I think certain teams could experiment with it. Certain teams.
So I agree with you on who can experiment with it 100%. I don't believe in this at all.
Fair.
I'm a believer in the old adage. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
You got none. I think it's a creative way to go cheap at the position, because if you are going cheap, you either have a Hall of Famer on rookie deal or some limited vet. So if you have limited vets, maybe you want 2 and like combine them like Power Rangers.
Right. But then at the end of the day, right, every game is going to come down to 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 10. True drop back situation. Can your quarterback make the throw? And that's when you can't go tricky.
Exactly.
If he's a good starter in the league, you're not looking to go 50-50 with somebody else, or he makes too much money for you to even attempt it.